Today I'm talking about 3 80s comedies, all directed by this guy. And the names of those 3 movies are The Night of the Comet, The Night Before, and Gross Anatomy. First up is The Night of the Comet. This is a 1984 film, and the basic premise is this comet is coming by Earth, but it's got special powers, and everyone who is outside, most of them get disintegrated, but then some of them turn into zombies. They never fully explained that. But then, if you were in a windowless building that was surrounded by steel, then you were completely fine. And so this 18-year-old high school girl who doesn't know what she wants to do with her life is one of those lucky people who was saved, as well as her sister. So they go on a little adventure trying to figure out what to do now that the apocalypse is here. And it's pretty fun. I definitely enjoyed this film. It's not without its faults, for sure, but it was a pleasant experience. Like, the 2 leads were solid. They had good chemistry together. I liked them. I enjoyed seeing what they were gonna do. The lead, Reg, is a very likable person. She's nerdy, which is really fun. There's a whole discussion about Superman, which is great. And she's smart in general, but she's also filled with flaws. Like, she's a little bratty and fights with her sister and has terrible work ethic, which makes sense because she's 18. And then her sister, Sam, who I crazy love. Just great little sister vibes. But then she's also just very scared of everything and has lots of nightmares and is just constantly very on edge, but not in like a grating, annoying way. It was very, this is the apocalypse and everything is terrifying sort of way. So like, I could really relate to her. I just wanted to give her a big old hug. And I honestly got emotional with her a couple of times. The big issue with the movie is that it's very slow. There's definitely a lot of just milling around, and scenes definitely could have played out snappier, and that would have really helped the film. I think shaving a solid 10 minutes off of this movie would have helped it a lot. You can keep all the scenes, just tighten them all up is really it. I would kind of describe the whole thing as like, it's got very solid bones. Like, the structure of the film is there. There's just not a lot of meat on the bones. So yeah, no, this is a nice little film that I would kind of cautiously recommend. Like, it is an enjoyable experience, it's just a very slow experience. So you gotta set yourself up for the right expectations to be able to enjoy this fun, silly little movie. So yeah, no, it is nice, it's just kind of a caution recommend. Next up is The Night Before. This is a 1988 film starring Keanu Reeves and Lori Loughlin. And the basic premise is Lori plays this really popular girl who loses a bet. So she has to take the school loser, Keanu, to prom. Unfortunately, on the way to prom, Keanu gets lost and they end up in the bad part of town. And then shenanigans ensue, with kind of the main one being that Keanu gets very high / drunk for a bit and ends up accidentally selling Lori into prostitution. So he needs to first remember what the hell happened and then undo everything that happened. And it's just wild. It reminds me a bit of Martin Scorsese's After Hours, because it is just like all of these ridiculous situations and set pieces just like bouncing back and forth between, and it goes to so many absurd places. I didn't super connect to it, and I didn't hate the experience, but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it either. It was a wild ride. I think a good way to enjoy this film is with friends and alcohol, just because it doesn't make the most sense and would be kind of fun just to poke at. So yeah, no, it's a solid meh film that I would only kind of cautiously recommend if you're in the mood for something that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but is kind of sort of a little bit fun. And lastly is Gross Anatomy. This is a 1989 film, and the basic premise is the son of a fish merchant dreams of being a doctor because he wants to make a lot of money because he's sick of being poor his whole life. And now he's in med school and is kind of treating it like a giant joke and doesn't understand why everyone else is taking things so seriously. And that's kind of about it. It's not a good movie. The main character is just so goddamn smug and such a know-it-all asshole who just believes he is better than everyone else because he has figured out how to study faster than everyone else, but it's a dumb way of studying that does bite him in the ass, but it's not really the point of it. I don't know. It's just, he's such a piece of shit. And he's such an idiot. Like at one point, he basically asks the person who decides who gets to be a doctor, what's so special about you that you get to decide who gets to be a doctor? And I'm like, well, her degree and the people who hired her to decide who gets to be a doctor, and like she's dedicated her whole life to making doctors, so I would say all of that is probably what gives her the right to decide who gets to be a doctor, because one of his classmates get kicked out of college because drug use and he was just doing bad in general. Which they don't really even explain why he was doing bad, even though he spends all of his time studying, doing the things he should be doing. He just wasn't grasping it, I guess, is the reason. I don't know. And then like he quit school because his roommate got kicked out. But it's like the school was in the right for kicking out a student who was failing and addicted to drugs. That makes sense. You don't also jump ship when your roommate is doing those two things. I was literally in that situation in college. I didn't quit school. Why would I do that? That would make no sense. Also, the classic thing of the love interest told him no a lot of times, and the lead just didn't want to take no for an answer. So that was great. So yeah, no, I did not care for this movie, and I would not recommend it. It is a strange little film that just doesn't work on any sort of level. So yeah, no, it's a not good time that I would not tell you to seek out. Alright, for today's rankings. First up, we got Night of the Comet, sitting number 23 in the liked section. And then after that is The Night Before, sitting number 31 in the meh section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is Gross Anatomy, sitting at number 38 in the didn't like section. And this is out of a total of 39 old movies so far this year.